ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Thursday, June 26. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We're going to open that up in just a few minutes at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've got a lot to get into today. We're going to keep an eye on what's happening with Texas State. And then coming up in about a few minutes, we're going to be speaking with Whitney Bays. She is the newly announced head women's basketball coach at West Virginia State University. And so she's going to join us on the program in just a few minutes. We'll talk to her about accepting the job. Of course, she was a standout at Huntington High, and she's had a very successful coaching career leading to this point. So she spoke earlier today accepting the position, and so she's going to be with us on the program. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we're going to talk to Michael Adams. He covers sports in Austin. He's going to join us at 5:30. Here's what we know. If it's going to be Texas State to the Pac-12, it's going to be more than likely Louisiana Tech to the Sun Belt. And then conference might stay put. So that's what we know. Texas State going to the Pac, Louisiana Tech coming back to Marshall's hemisphere a little bit, going to be a West Division probably member. Yeah, I don't see any shuffling anymore. You get travel considerations to think about this. So there's a lot that's going on right now. And I know that there have been some discussions, among some of the leadership. There's been a push for Western Kentucky, maybe. There's been a push for Middle Tennessee. I'm sure the East Division would love to have a little bit more of a rivalry aspect there, because I don't know who's out there right now that really could bolster the league. But there is, and keep this in mind, there is also the game plan to just sit back and wait, see what happens, because I think everyone agrees that if there's some shuffling that will continue and the American is the target, and then the American's television deal is going to get obviously hit. And so that could be the perfect time to maybe try to lure away a school like Eastern Carolina, ECU, East Carolina. That would probably be the best bet. So honestly, we're going to find out soon. So I've got everything lined up. We're going to take our first break on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
The fun heats up at Dave & Buster's. Introducing the all-new Summer Season Pass. Your ticket to unlimited gameplay all summer long. Now through Labor Day, choose the Silver Pass for unlimited weekday gameplay and 10% off food and drinks. Just $69.99. You want more? Upgrade to Gold or Platinum for weekend gameplay, up to 30% off food and drinks, and even weekly food vouchers. Don't miss out. Grab your pass today and level up your summer. Blackout dates may apply. Visit DaveandBusters.com for full details. The summer heats up at Dave & Buster's Huntington Mall.
The heat is on at Cardinal Chevy, and this bow tie guy is serving up some huge summer deals on your favorite bow tie brands. Hot new Silverados, now to $12,000 off. New Equinox, just $299 a month. There's even financing rates from 1.9% and above market trade values regardless of year, make, model, mileage, or condition. New ownership, improved process, better deal. Let's make this your summer to sizzle. Visit our gorgeous facility right off I-64 and Hurricane or at CardinalChevy.com. Together, let's drive. See dealer for complete details.
At Skechers, we put the S in comfort.
Wait. Skechers put the S in comfort?
Yes, comfort you have to feel to believe. Skechers, we put the S in comfort.
You sure? Because I won a spelling bee in the 5th grade, and I don't think there's an S in comfort.
Yes, Skechers. We put the S in comfort, like our hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Footwear that's completely touchless. You just step in and go. There's no bending down and no tying your shoes. And they have Skechers Air-Cool Memory Foam for incredible comfort. Because at Skechers, we put the S in comfort.
Okay, well, I've got some Skechers slip-ins. Here, let me try. Okay, I'm just stepping in and... Oh, wow. Skechers put the S in comfort.
Duh. We told you.
See for yourself how Skechers put the S in comfort. Find Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Think summer. Think sunshine, lake days, beach trips.
and all that sand, salt, and grime clinging to your car. That stuff doesn't just look bad, it can dull your paint, cause scratches, and even lead to rust. Protect your ride and keep it shining all summer long with a trip to Thoroughbred Express Auto Wash. Fast, easy, and built for real clean. Find a location near you by getting started at thoroughbredexpress.com. Join the winner's circle with Thoroughbred Express Wash, where your summer starts sparkling.
This is Mayor Patrick Farrell. Summer in Huntington has always had a special energy, but this year feels different. Families are out walking, neighbors are reconnecting, and more folks are spending time downtown. We're a city focused on what matters. Dog Dazzle is your chance to soak it in. Enjoy fireworks, food, music, and a night by the river that brings us together. Join us July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. We'd love to see you there.
Here's another Kinder Communications Community Chatter. The third annual Dolly Dash, a 5K race for reading, is coming up on August 9th, starting at 9:25 a.m. at Ritter Park in Huntington. This supports the June Harless Center at Marshall University and Dolly Martin's Imagination Library in West Virginia. Go to tristateracer.com/Dolly-2025.
This Kinder Communications Community Chatter brought to you by Gomart. Go for good times. Go for Gomart.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow, it's the Friday edition of Talk Line. That means Steam release. You can get started at 10:06 tomorrow right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Let's turn our attention to West Virginia State University, announcing Whitney Bays as the new head women's basketball coach. Of course, if you grew up in Huntington, you know Whitney. She was a standout for Huntington High. She's had a tremendous career coaching not only at Huntington High, but also in college athletics for several years, now making her way back home to the Mountain State. She was announced today, or introduced today, and she's now with us on the program. Coach, I get to call you that. Congratulations, Whitney. It's a fantastic place to start your head coaching career.
Right. I'm excited. I'm getting used to being called head coach. That's been an adjustment. But I'm definitely excited for this new opportunity and this new journey I'm on.
Why was West Virginia State the best opportunity for you?
One, it's home. In my home state, I have a daughter. I'm very family-oriented, so having the support of my family and friends has always been something that's been important to me. But also, I think West Virginia State has a great historical foundation. I'm really close with Charles, Coach Marshall, who was the head coach before me, so he left me a good foundation that I'm just trying to add to at this point. And really prove myself in a really competitive conference.
You mentioned proving yourself in a competitive conference. Why are you the best fit for West Virginia State?
I think just being from here gives me, a slight advantage. Knowing a lot of the players that are already in the conference, a lot of the in-state kids. Obviously having that experience now as a coach, but also the experience as a player at a high level, and being a coach at a high level as well has helped me along my journey and definitely put me in situations and gave me, knowledge that I'm grateful to have now. So yeah, just a little bit of everything. You pick up these experiences, you go places, you see things, and every little piece of it just builds me into the coach I am today, basically.
Plus, you come in with a lot of credibility. Not only, it just feels like it was yesterday. You're winning state championships at Huntington High. You're a Gatorade West Virginia Player of the Year. I mean, not singular, plural. I mean, more than one. You also coach at Huntington High. You lead the Highlanders to state championships. You also have a Gatorade Player of the Year as well. And then you have this tremendous run as an assistant coach. You're at Gardner-Webb. You are at Memphis. You're all over the place, and you've seen success at all those levels. And now you come into the Mountain East, and it's a conference that has seen a lot of success. So what's the first challenge for you as you get situated in the role as head coach? I know it's got to be recruiting, probably recruiting your team. Where do you start?
First I'll start saying, I don't know if it was just yesterday that I was playing now. That seems like it was when I was in high school playing here, so that seems like it was a while ago. But as far as, my team and where I start, definitely recruiting is the biggest piece for me right now. I'm working around the clock. Just trying to, I referred to it earlier today as like a puzzle, and just trying to fit the pieces together at this point, even regarding with my staff, all of that type of thing. So definitely recruiting is on the forefront right now. But then, getting into the other things, I'd love to do community service. Got to get out there and do some fundraising for our program so our athletes can have the best experience possible. But really just focusing on building my team right now. And what I want that to look like, and hopefully it's a masterpiece at the end of the day. So we'll see.
I forgot you played as well. Yeah, we have to remind folks you also were second team All Big Ten. Come on, you were first team, right? I wrote that down wrong. You were first team.
No, I was second team. I was all right. But I was lucky enough, to be able to play after college, which again gave me a lot of experience and knowledge, just playing in different countries, seeing different styles of play, different types of players, and again, networking and meeting people that I plan to still be in contact with today and that, are going to help me in this coaching area of my life right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure not only on you, obviously as the head coach, the pressure is always going to be there, but in this Mountain East Conference, it feels like this is becoming a cradle of coaches for basketball, especially women's basketball. We can look back and see the success that Kim Caldwell has had or teams in the Mountain East have enjoyed over the last few years. Just what makes this particular conference and this collection of schools so special? Does it start with the fact that it is foundation here, home in West Virginia? What's so special about everything that this conference has become and these schools, including state, are trying to achieve?
I think, honestly, it's the level of competition. Every night is a game, and you see high-level coaching. Even me just watching the film and stuff, I've been looking at, I know everybody, the portal's taking a couple things up from last year, but just, kind of getting an idea of what everybody's running and, doing, pressing, seeing everything. But, you mentioned Kim Caldwell. She's a friend of mine, and I told her the other day she's an inspiration to me, you know what I mean? So trying to basically get my team together. So I got a lot of work to do, but also, recognizing this is an opportunity for me to learn as well. And that's what I plan to do, and hopefully put on a show for everybody to come out and see.
I'm just curious. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but anyone else has reached out to you? I know we mentioned Coach Caldwell just a few minutes ago, but who's reached out to you so far? Has it just been a whirlwind? You haven't even got to your phone yet.
Right. It's been a lot of that. I have a lot of mentors, so there's so many people that I can name. Also, Bubby at UC, we were talking the other day. I told him we're supposed to be rivals, but I've known him for a while as well. He's a great coach as well. But yeah, just basically getting acclimated to everything. But the outpouring of love and support just across the state was even more than I could have imagined. So that really meant a lot to me, and I just want to make everybody proud at this point. You know what I mean? And I intend to do so. So we'll see. I'm still working on building that roster. I gotta have a team to put out there, but we making it work slowly but surely.
You might have an advantage, and that's hard to say that you might have an advantage in a conference like this where it's tough. The coaches are good. This is a quality conference, but you come from a background where you've seen at a high level what the transfer portal looks like, how to work it. Does that maybe give you an edge a little bit as far as building your team? You've seen it firsthand at its highest levels of what that transfer portal is all about.
I think it can give me an edge just knowing what maybe, D1 players from that standpoint, obviously navigating it, having that experience at a high level, and then also, even networking. It's somebody that knows somebody. That's usually how recruiting goes. But just having those connections and everything, I think will help. But also, like I said, the main thing is being from the state of West Virginia, obviously being from Huntington, which is right up the street. But having, those connections with people that I have been friends of mine for a long time in Charleston as well. So I'm by no means coming in, thinking I got it all, the answers and everything. I'm definitely reaching out to everyone I know when it comes to recruiting, because I haven't been here in 3 years, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely going to be out to a lot of games, high school games, and out in the community just to promote my team. I think we can do some special things, and we might have an exciting news coming up here. So I'll keep you posted. It's to be continued.
Okay, to be continued. You mentioned home, family. That's very important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Just what's been the family and friends response? I'm sure there was a huge contingent of fans and family for you today during your introductory press conference. What's that like now, knowing that, okay, I'm so close to home? You're not that far from Huntington. You're not that far from Charleston. You're right there in that sweet spot.
Yeah. So, obviously recruiting statewide, but when we talk about my friends and family, right now I'm just taking in the little things. My sister messaged me the other day, like, you want to come to the house to eat? And she probably thought that wasn't a big deal, but, I've been away for so long. I came back for 2 years, but even before that, I've been away since I was basically like 17. So just being able to do that was different for me, and, having those moments. I've got nephews, nieces that, I've missed a lot with them. So, when we talk about opportunity to come back and live my dream through coaching, but also be there, for my family and friends that have supported me along my playing career and now into my coaching career, I wasn't going to turn down an opportunity like that.
Whitney Bays is with us, announced as the new head women's basketball coach at West Virginia State University. Of course, she has been a standout everywhere she has gone, including her time at Huntington High. So now that you're back, as you alluded to, there's a lot of things you missed. You haven't been around in a while, so I know you're trying to get it reacclimated. But what's that thing that you've missed the most that you're trying to take in? Is it family? Is it Tudor's biscuits? I don't know.
Right.
What might that thing be that you've missed the most, that you're just excited to be able to finally put your arms around and be back, so close to it, or just be surrounded by it?
Listen, so Tudor's never fails. I had a recruit on campus, and they were going on and on about Tudor's. I miss Tudor's as well, but I would definitely say, my family. And honestly, just the hospitality of West Virginia. Like, I forgot, and which I don't know how. Maybe I've been away too long, but just how, like I mentioned before, the outpouring of love, the support, just people that genuinely want to see me do good was more than I even anticipated. So, you can take the girl out the country, but you can't take the country out the girl. So my heart is always here in West Virginia, and I'm hoping to do some special things this season.
Whitney Bays is with us, head coach now of West Virginia State University. Her introductory press conference was today, so now you got to get your roster put together.
Right.
I'm going to ask scheduling. What are we looking at here? We're going to see a trip down to Huntington now and then. What do we got planned?
I'm trying to set it up. Shout out to Marshall. I'm trying to set it up, but we'll see. It's kind of the timing of everything is a little weird, so we're working through that as well. But, hopefully we can get a couple good games on the schedule. Even Moorhead, just local teams would love to, put my team especially in a position to play on that type of stage. And also for myself to coach on that type of stage, especially just coming from it, if that makes sense. So, yeah, we've got some exciting things planned, and I'm just ready. I'm excited. And like I said, it's good to be home.
Would it be fair to say then? And I know, Marshall is Marshall's home. It's Huntington, but you've been elsewhere. Your career has taken you elsewhere. What would that feel like just to be able to coach a team at the Cam Henderson Center? Have you ever thought about that? Is that something that maybe you didn't think about until now as the head coach? Now that you're taking over this team and you have that potential opportunity?
Yeah, it's crazy because I hate to get biblical on everything, but God works in mysterious ways, and everything comes full circle. So right now I'm enjoying my time here at West Virginia State, trying to learn that campus, trying to learn that community. So that's really what I'm putting all my energy in. I would love the scrimmage game, with Marshall. But right now I think just trying to schedule a game with a team that, is going to prepare my team and all of those good things. So whether that be at Marshall, wherever I got to go, that's what I'm going to do for this season. But hopefully in the near future, we could definitely, even an exhibition game, get that going just to coach in front of my family and friends. And also, like I said, I'm really big on putting my student athletes in positions that they can have great experiences and stuff that they can learn from as well. So,
our guest is Whitney Bays, new head women's basketball coach, West Virginia State University. Before we let you go, of course, you're on the radio in your hometown. What do you want to say to friends, family, anybody that might be listening?
Come out and support. You know what I mean? Come ready to see high energy basketball. And hopefully, I can get a couple wins under my belt. But at the end of the day, I just want everybody to come out and support West Virginia State University, because these girls, that I'm recruiting, that are currently on the team, I know that they're going to work hard and get it done. So hopefully we can have a great season this season. I'm expecting some good things. The standard's going to be pretty high, or expectation for, at least for me, is going to be pretty high. So I'm excited to see if we can live up to it. So,
head coach Whitney Bays. I know that's not going to get old. Thanks for doing it today. We appreciate you being a part of the show. And, of course, just congratulations. It's always great to see somebody from home do well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been my pleasure for sure.
Thank you, Whitney. Have a great day. That is Whitney Bays, head coach of the West Virginia State University women's basketball team. Her introductory press conference was earlier today. We turn our attention now to conference realignment and our text line. When we continue, we're going to be speaking with Michael Adams, friend of the program, covers sports in Texas for the Austin Sports Journal. He'll give us the latest on what's happening with Texas State when we continue on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Calling all steak lovers. It's time to fire up the flavor at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Introducing the Grill Master Weekend Special. Choose a juicy New York strip or a tender ribeye, cooked just the way you like it, and served with 2 signature sides, all for just $29.99. Big taste, big value, big flavor. But only on the weekends at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Savor the grill and celebrate the weekend like a true champion with the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe on the corner of Fawn and 3rd Avenue in downtown Huntington.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC starting at $749.99 at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Lowe's knows July 4th savings are worth celebrating. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
I pick up litter at the neighborhood park.
I volunteer at my local food bank.
I help build homes in my community.
No matter where you are in West Virginia, there's always a chance to be kind. That's because every Mountaineer is a volunteer. Help us make a difference during the National Day of Service on September 11th. Visit volunteer.wv.gov to find an opportunity near you. Brought to you by Volunteer West Virginia, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Our Kendrick Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
the providers at Marshall OBGYN. Online at marshallhealth.com/OBGYN. The Area Agency of Aging, Southern Ohio's designated Aging and Disability Resource Network. And Swisher and Losi, independently owned with free local delivery and drive-through service. 636 East Main Street in Pomeroy, Ohio.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've been following along all the conference realignment news. The Pac-12 going to be taking Texas State. That at least seems to be the rumor. Also, Sun Belt's going to be looking for a team. And we decided to go to a source on the ground. He also happens to be a friend of the program, and he made me feel real old off air. Michael Adams joins us. He covers sports for the Austin Sports Journal, and he's with us now on the program. Michael, how long have I known you? Because this made me feel old. It's been that long.
So, yeah, I think the caveat should be that I'm also a Marshall alumni, but we've known each other. It's been, man, I think I met you back in '99 when I was first getting started in journalism school, covering Marshall as a sports journalist. So about 25 years. At least.
So, I was a broadcast professional when you were starting out school at the legendary journalism department at Marshall University.
Yep. Mr. Ralph Turner, by all means. God rest in peace.
So now you have your own enterprise, Austin Sports Journal. Let's start talking about that first before we talk about all the conference realignment. You've been able to take your years of experience covering athletics, especially in Texas, and you've launched Austin Sports Journal. What's that been like for you?
It's been a really cool experience, to be honest with you. And I started it out kind of like as a hobby. So to know why and where this all started was I used to work for the Statesman. I was there for Austin American Statesman here in Austin, Texas. And I was there for about 13 years. And I covered various high school sports, absolutely loved it. Got into some UT women's sports, covered UT softball for a little bit. But I always enjoyed the high schools. And for those that don't know anything about Austin, Austin is a city with a bunch of little communities wrapped around in it. And each of those communities are very passionate about their schools. And I saw a market here that was very untapped. So I started the Austin Sports Journal mainly to cover high schools, and it just grew. And I think I keep up with about 83 high schools in this area across 13 counties. And we just started covering Texas State in the spring, started with Pro Day and did some spring stuff, going full force in the fall. So it's been a really cool adventure, and it grew beyond my wildest dreams. And it's still growing. So looking forward to seeing how much further I can take this.
And I'm sure there'll be a lot of Marshall fans, alum, following you over the next few days. And, of course, you can find on Twitter, probably the best place. I'm sorry, X. I still call it Twitter now and then. On X, you can follow.
It's still Twitter.
It's still Twitter. You can follow the Austin Sports Journal there, ASJ Sports ATX, and you'll probably have the scoop before most everybody else as you're closest to the situation. So let's get people caught up. The Pac-12 informing the Sun Belt, Texas State informing the Sun Belt, hey, there could be an offer here on the table. And so we're waiting for the official word. I know there have been a couple of outlets trying to jump the gun. We haven't seen anything official yet. So where are we at as far as that announcement? Is it close, or are there still some issues that need to be worked out?
It's pretty close. From what I'm hearing, it's somewhat of a done deal. We're just waiting on the word that the offer has been made. I've had a few people tell me that it has been made, but I can't confirm that yet, so we don't know that. But I think the important thing to keep in mind is the timeline. Texas State is pushing a deadline of July 1st to let the Sun Belt know that they intend to leave, to avoid an exit fee going from $5 million to $10 million. If they do it after July 1st, it jumps to $10 million. So the timeline is important, I think. The other part of the other caveat to all that is Texas public information laws state that the schools have to give 72-hour public notice for a special meeting. So in order for Texas State to get this done by July 1st, the Texas State Board of Regents would have to call a special meeting, give 72 hours notice, vote, approve the move, and then boom, everything's set in stone. And Texas State goes off to the Pac-12 next year for the 2026-27 season. From where I stand, it's pretty much a done deal. It's just a waiting game at this point. So I think that's where we're at.
Okay, so we need to have that announcement made before the strike of midnight, and July 1st, you roll in, you're past midnight, that fee doubles. So we will hear something, hopefully, if it happens. At least officially, the notice has to be given before the stroke of midnight if we want to get technical about it, or it's another $5 million.
Right. And, I mean, I'm sure Texas State has the money, but who wants to spend an extra $5 million when they don't have to? But I would expect something official either tomorrow or at the latest Monday. I don't see them pushing that deadline any further. Texas State the Pac-12 has been courting Texas State for a while. There was some talk that Texas State kind of pushed back because they kind of wanted more of a ownership in the conference. I guess that got worked out. I know the Pac-12 needs an eighth member, and Texas State has been the one they've wanted all along. So it looks like it's a pretty done deal. We're just waiting to see when it happens.
Michael Adams is joining us, Austin Sports Journal. So we know Texas State is pretty much set in stone, Pac-12, and then the speculation has been Louisiana Tech to the Sun Belt. Texter wrote in a few minutes ago, and I'll share this with you, said, Paul, Louisiana Tech is such a who cares pick. Do you think that Louisiana schools La Tech, let's see, okay, yeah, it's kind of a jumbled mess, but La Tech is basically a who cares pick. is what the texter is trying to say. Where are we at there? Is La Tech, from what you're understanding, the odds-on favorite? I know there's been some conversation that even though there's some interest in Western Kentucky or Middle Tennessee, that it's either wait or see or take La Tech.
Well, I think Louisiana Tech will be the pick. And the reason for that is travel. Louisiana Tech is very easy to get to for most of the Western Division schools. I mean, it's right along I-20, or Ruston's right along I-20. It's 30 minutes from Monroe. I don't know how far it is from Lafayette, which is on I-10, but you look at the geographic makeup of the Sun Belt. Louisiana Tech does fit the mold to keep travel low, because look, if you pick Western Kentucky, which would probably be a better choice in my opinion, I don't necessarily disagree that Louisiana Tech isn't that appealing, but I think as far as travel goes, Louisiana Tech makes most sense. I will say though, and a school that hasn't been mentioned is Sam Houston, and I don't know if that's going to get a lot of traction just yet, but Sam Houston would make a lot of sense because it's kind of like where Texas State was in 2013 when they were just moving up the ladder a little bit. And Huntsville's an hour from Houston, and it's easy to get to. I don't know. I think Sam Houston should be in that conversation, but I truly believe that Louisiana Tech is going to be the one they go after, just for the travel part of it.
Michael Adams is with us. Marshall grad, Austin Sports Journal. He's been keeping an eye on what's happening with the Pac-12 and Texas State. Why do you feel that we have pushed this to the end of the deadline? Why have we waited so long to get this done?
Well, I think I heard this the other day, and I couldn't agree more. And I can't tell you I can't remember who said it, but the Pac-12 needs Texas State more than Texas State needs the Pac-12. Because let's be honest, Texas State's very comfortable in the Sun Belt. They're very competitive in the Sun Belt. They really don't need to move to the Pac-12. But the Pac-12 needs an eighth member. Texas State's that. So I think the holdup has been, like going back to what I was saying earlier, Texas State's wanted a full share of the Pac-12, and they weren't getting it in the initial stages, but I think I'm pretty sure they're getting it now, and the Pac-12 is going to do everything they can to get that deal worked. But I think that's it. I think it's just, there's no sense of urgency from Texas State to say, hey, we're leaving except for that July 1st deadline. So I think that's what's really kind of been the holdup is just, Texas State hasn't really needed to say yes just yet.
Are you getting any feedback as far as what the fans are thinking, or at least the overall impression, excitement for this move outside of maybe more revenue? Is there any buzz to this? Is there really a lot of fans pushing for Texas State to take this deal? What are you hearing?
Yeah, I mean, the fans, and I somehow got into the side of X, Twitter, from the Texas State fan base, and boy, they are just pumped. They are so excited. They're all ready for it. It's a bigger move, right? Not to say the Sun Belt's a bad conference, because in my opinion, and I'm not looking at it from my green and white goggles, from my opinion, the Sun Belt's a very competitive conference in every sport. Look, Coastal Carolina just played in a College World Series final, but Texas State, it kind of feels like they're the far child, like really off to the distance, geographically speaking. So the Pac-12 is a step up for them. The fans are really excited, and there's been a lot of. I'll say this too about Texas State. There's a lot of excitement in general around that program, Pac-12 or Sun Belt, regardless. G.J. Kinney, the head coach there, has really brought an energy to that program. They sold out, and I was thinking about this the other day. When Marshall plays like Kansas State, some of them big schools, they really sell out that program. Texas State played Arizona State at home last year. It wasn't really a sellout. They played Arkansas State a few weeks later, sold that game out for Arkansas State, sold out a Nicholls State game. The fans are energetic. They're just so pumped about this athletic program, the coach, the football team. And, I think the Pac-12 is just the cherry on top of a really energized fan base at this point.
You're coming home, right? October 18th, Texas State at Marshall. We're going to get you back here.
I
right?
thought about it. I mean, it is a business trip, so definitely thought about coming back up to the Mountain State for that game.
You can expense that,
we'll
right?
see what happens. Huh?
You can expense that. Go ahead. You know the owner, right? You expense that.
Yeah, I can exactly. I can expense that trip and write that off. That's a fun trip. And honestly, I do have that date circled on my calendar, so we'll see what happens. If I can make it up that way, I probably am going to.
Looking forward to it. Hopefully we have some more news tomorrow. We're going to have you back on tomorrow. So as I told you earlier, I'll tell everyone listening that there's no reason why we can't have you on back-to-back, because this is probably going to be a very fluid story for the next few days.
I think this right now, this is probably the most followed story in college football. As far as like realignment and all that stuff goes, there's a lot of interest in this story. I really think too. And I'm going to use TCU as an example, because TCU was, they're Conference USA for a while. They moved around the conference. They're now in the Big 12. I mean, they just had a trajectory of just growth. And I think Texas State's probably that next program you're going to hear, because I can't describe it for your listeners, Paul, but football in Texas is so different. It's so different. But I think Texas State's going to take that trajectory from TCU, and you're going to see a really budding program out of this. So kind of disappointed, though, that if they are leaving the Sun Belt, because that means that Marshall won't come here to play next year.
Yeah, there is a point there. Darn, no Texas travel for Marshall. Oh, that's going to be that's going to be so terrible.
Sad.
That's good for you. Yes, it's terrible for Herd fans. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Michael Adams is with us, Austin Sports Journal. Before we let you go, I know that you want to probably address the other rumor, and that's East Carolina is coming into the Sun Belt. We had a talk earlier today, and you've been following that story as well.
Yeah, that's my favorite hot take of the day. Because, East Carolina would be a good fit, but I really, truly believe that the Sun Belt's really looking for a Western expansion. And I don't think ECU would leave the AAC and that TV contract for the Sun Belt. So it's a better contract for now. And just, it's, I don't want to say it's laughable, but it almost is laughable that anybody would think that ECU would, leave the AAC for the Sun Belt. But hey, stranger things have happened in this realignment, so never say never, right?
Right. Marshall to the Big 12, Marshall to the ACC. It's happening.
Now I will say this: there is a rumor, and this is, I guess, something you probably haven't heard yet. There is a rumor that if Texas State joins the Pac-12, that the possibility of UTSA leaving the AAC and going to the Pac-12 is, I don't want to say high, but that's there's potential there. So that would open up a hole in the AAC. Just saying.
Keep following that story. Michael Adams, our guest, Austin Sports Journal. I'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow, and we'll have more on this Texas State story. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you doing it.
All right. No problem. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me.
That's Michael Adams, everyone. Fan of the program, friend of the program, and, of course, a Marshall alum as well. Quick timeout. We come back. We'll get to your text when we continue on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Dog Dazzle 2025. It's a Huntington Tri-State summer tradition, and it all kicks off Thursday, July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park. Dog Dazzle 2025 featuring Matt Stell. Plus, special guest, Madhouse. And don't miss the Big Sandy Superstore Furniture Fireworks Show, lighting up the sky. Gates open at 5 p.m. Enjoy inflatables, ice-cold drinks from the Clark's Pump and Shop beer tents, food trucks, and family fun all night long. Dog Dazzle with Matt Stell. Get to 937thedog.com for free ticket locations. Dog Dazzle 2025 with Matt Stell, Thursday, July 3rd. Presented by the City of Huntington, Cabell County Commission, Blinko Glass Company, Dave & Buster's, Little Caesars, Wendy's, Great Outdoors Marine, Miller Lite, Twisted Tea, Comark, University Ford, One Way Septic, White Claw, Michelob Ultra, Busch Light, Kendrick Communications, and 93.7 The Dog. Dog Dazzle. Kick off your fourth with a bang.
Save big money on your next staining project right now at Menards. Pittsburgh's ultra advanced semi-transparent exterior stain and sealant in one can be applied on damp wood, allowing you to clean the surface and stain in one day. Save big on ultra advanced exterior stain and sealant. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Your West Virginia premier Ford Bowtie guy is heating things up, and y'all get to cash in. Ford's #1 selling F-150 employee price now $12,000 off MSRP. Escapes and Explorers employee price now $6,500 off MSRP. There's even 1.9% financing. Summer is the perfect time to trade in and trade up, and we're paying top dollar. New ownership, improved process, better deals. Better deals. Visit us at University Ford in Huntington or online at universityfordwv.com. See dealer for complete details on all offers.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Some people just know they can save hundreds on home and auto insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check your house sitter has the new code first before leaving for vacation.
System lockout.
But that's the code.
Contacting authorities.
I'm out of here.
Oh, seriously, the car too?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a home and auto bundle that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Potential savings vary. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Let's get back to the text real quick. I promise not to butcher any more texts. I've been actually pre-reading them this time. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, as a high school alum in Huntington, I wish nothing but success for Whitney Bays. No disrespect to current women's Marshall head coach Julie Folks, but I certainly look forward to Whitney to have the chance to coach the Lady Herd one day. We'll be cheering her and West Virginia State on. They've got a pretty good schedule coming up. The first home game is going to be November 21st versus Bluefield State. They haven't set a time for that yet. The first game overall is going to be November 14th at Virginia State Conference Classic. It's going to be against VSU and Elizabeth City State. So I got the update from the folks over at West Virginia State. I appreciate them being so helpful today and making this possible. And, of course, I want to thank our guest today. Michael Adams joined us a few minutes ago from Austin Sports Journal, and Coach as well. I appreciate Whitney Bays being with us. We'll get her back on soon. I think it'll be great once she gets her first home game under her belt, gets her first overall game under her belt. We'll get her back on to just talk about the experience as well. We're going to try to keep track of everything with Texas State. We should have more information, I would think, tonight, tomorrow, and then we will have the latest tomorrow with Michaels. Also, I can't announce the guest just yet, but I've got a pretty good guest coming up tentatively tomorrow. There's an announcement coming soon, and I can't share the announcement, but I can tease the announcement that it will be relevant, and it's not Marshall related. Let me just go ahead and clarify this now. It's not a Marshall related thing, but I got a pretty special guest that we're working on. We might have for tomorrow, so I will leave it at that. And you know what? That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everyone being with us today here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We have got coming up later on Colecats baseball, 6:45 tonight. The Cats in action. It is Sergeant Slaughter night. The legend from back in the day. It was WWF when he was wearing that World Heavyweight Championship. We're not going to...
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.